This is the final presentation for A Technological Revolution by David Cripe. Prior to enrolling at Azusa Pacific University, I graduated from UC Santa Barbara in 2005 with a Bachelor of Arts in Sociology and a minor in Athletic Coaching. While attending school, I worked summers at a camp called Gold Arrow Camp. While there, I instructed campers in a variety of skills, such as kayaking, canoeing, water skiing, and wakeboarding. While this was my first experience in the field of education, it certainly was not my last. After graduating, I wanted to travel the world, so I started substitute teaching in order to make money and keep my schedule flexible. In the winter of 2007-2008, I was able to accomplish that goal, making stops in New Zealand, Australia, Asia, and Europe. Upon returning from abroad, I decided to start the next chapter in my life and enroll at Azusa Pacific University to complete my teaching credential, which I was able to do in June of 2010. I am now finishing my master's degree in digital teaching and learning. Throughout this master's program, I have taken classes that have made me aware of many ways to incorporate technology into daily classroom activities in forms I had never thought possible, such as structuring lesson plans, creating instructional videos, using blogs to enhance classroom communication, and so much more. EDUC 512 was a great introductory course that laid the groundwork for the meat of my capstone. I did not possess a lot of knowledge of the Microsoft Suite prior to the class, but made significant strides while in this class. EDUC 514 took me beyond the level that I had already understood for video editing, and it allowed me the opportunity to see the immense benefit of editing videos for classroom use. It also introduced me to GarageBand and iMovie. EDUC 515 helped me to realize what blogs can do to enhance teacher-student-parent relationships. EDUC 522 was beneficial in learning the multiple intelligences theory, as well as Bloom's taxonomy, and was great for helping to cement in knowledge that will benefit me in the future in my classroom. And in EDUC 526, I was able to learn Adobe's InDesign, which I hope to be able to use in the future a lot more. Beyond the classroom, I was able to learn some things about myself. Personally, that I have learned that I love to work under a little bit of pressure, which I think will work great as a teacher since you are constantly thinking and adjusting in the heat of the moment. I went into this program with a thought process that grades really didn't matter. But as I progressed, I began to take more pride in my work and cared more about the way my professors thought about me. I started completing all assignments and doing whatever it took to ensure I got an A in every class. As I started to feel more pride in my work, I began to connect deeper with a few of the professors. In college, I often shied away from them because I was only an above-average student. But when they share the same pride in your work as you do, it is nice to get to know them on a personal level. The largest personal growth that I can tell is a story about graduation. At first, I laughed at the idea of going through the ceremony in May. But the more I thought about it, the larger this accomplishment seemed, and the more it seemed laughable that I was not going to walk and enjoy the moment and the feeling of pride in what I had finished. Technologically, I was able to make significant growth in such areas as Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, and to a lesser degree, Excel, as a result of taking classes at Azusa Pacific. I gained a lot more knowledge about iMovie and GarageBand by taking these classes, both of which I think are a definite asset to today's classroom. The biggest growth I made was with my knowledge of the internet. Don't get me wrong, I had surfed the internet for as long as I can remember, but my actual knowledge of the gifts that existed out there was very minimal. I often thought that blogs were a big waste of space, or for a way for people to get on their pulpit and add nothing of significance to society. Since completing that class, I have seen how beneficial that they can be for classroom usage. From updating parents on what is coming up in the next few weeks, to letting them know what has occurred in the past few weeks, it is a useful tool. Posting homework or enrichment assignments, or quick videos for the students to use as study tools at home are a great way to reach students outside of the classroom. The last stride I made technologically isn't even a skill I learned, but more of an attitude adjustment. I now understand how important incorporating more and more technology into daily lessons is. Students are so much more advanced than most people give them credit for, and teaching them without using what's available is nothing more than a disservice to them. Professionally, I have noticed myself take things a lot more seriously. As I have progressed through the program, when I started substitute teaching, I would often walk away not caring if a student misbehaved or didn't fully understand the lesson. I mean, after all, at the end of the day, it wasn't my problem. As I progressed through the master's program, I realized the importance of that substitute teaching is to the overall well-being of the school and started to care more. This meant a lot less goofing around with the students and coming down harder on them when they started acting out. I started treating every day like it was an audition for a permanent teaching position. I realized the importance of using the time to try different techniques, teaching and disciplinary, to see which ones were more effective so that one day when I do have a permanent position, I will have access to more strategies. As those aspects of my classroom behavior changed, the philosophy behind my teaching changed. It just happens that I have seen firsthand the path to more technology. When I started in classrooms, I would often work with transparencies and overhead projectors. As I have moved on, I have worked with LCD projectors, Elmo machines, and even smartboards. This has given me the opportunity to realize how vital technology is in the classroom. I used to say that we were trying to teach 21st century students using 19th century methods. Seeing the evolution has really made me anxious to see what I can take from this program in my everyday teaching when given the opportunity to run my own classroom. This professional growth led me to work on an action research report where I looked at improving the attention span of a certain student. While lecturing, I would play a simple game of catch with the student in the hopes that his attention would be on the teacher. The statistics indicated this worked for the student and could work again as a short-term solution to the same problem if it ever arose again in the classroom. For my unit, I elected to utilize a unit I created in another class on the American Revolution. It is a website-based unit that was designed using Wikispaces. It is an interactive unit that can be viewed by the parents, students, and even other teachers who are curious of what the unit entails. The unit has 11 sections, including a unit calendar and lesson plans. There are sections for insight into the interactive bulletin board, as well as the file folder games that we will play during the unit. It covers the sections that introduce the literature books we will be using during the unit, as well as the supplemental websites the students will visit throughout the unit. It introduces the field trip the class will take. Lastly, it includes the culminating synthesis project and the assessment and remediation plan. All this also coincides with the blog site I created for this 3-week unit. It is a weekly blog site that is another way for students and parents to interact within the unit. The first section is a little introduction of me. They can read a very brief paragraph about me, or click on a link that plays an audio file with a more in-depth introduction. The second section is for the parents. They can go there and see certain things like what lessons are coming up, rubrics for assignments, and even an introduction of some of the assignments their children will be completing. The last section is for the students, and this includes links to online quizzes, links for downloading assignments, and information for upcoming events. Once the students have downloaded the assignments, they then complete the assignments and upload it onto their own personal blogs. Weebly lets me access their blog so that I can see what work they have completed. I can then access it and grade it. This is a fun and effective way for students to complete their work. It also introduces them to blogging as a future tool they can use. It starts an e-portfolio for them. And lastly, it cuts down on paper waste, which is something we can all get on board with and something we all strive while taking this program.